Okay, JP's Ponderings. Now, you might wonder what we're pondering about today. Well, I am going to talk about time and your most valuable asset that you have, what you can give to yourself and what you can give to others. It is all about time. In the last few weeks, I've been lucky enough that, unfortunately for my wife, she's had an operation, but I have been playing parent and doing drop-offs and pickups and lunch boxes, which I do all the time anyway, and making sure the kids are at their sporting events. In our life, it's cheer. And to say it's been pretty hectic is an understatement. But it's one thing I've learned. It's been so much fun. And I didn't realise how much or how little time you actually do spend with your children. And when you look it up, we all have 168 hours every week to do whatever we want with that. Obviously, a bit of sleep might be needed in that. But when you really look at how little contact time that you have with your children, I'm going to speak on my behalf, and people that are working might be more. I've got young children, so I sometimes in the morning, I'll see them between 7 and 8, and when I'm getting them prepared to go to school, and I'll do drop-off, or I'll make sure that the lunch boxes are done. That's what I do. And then I'll hopefully get home by around 7 o'clock, which leaves me another contact hour with the kids. Now, when you look at that, that's only 10 hours during Monday to Friday. And at best, if you're super lucky, you get 12 hours on the weekend. If they're anything like my kids, they're waking you up at 7 o'clock in the morning, no matter what happens the night before. And when you look at that, it's 34 hours of contact hours that at best you can possibly hang out with your children and have contact with your children. Now, some people might think that's way too much, and then you go into the weekend. What happens in a weekend? There's sporting events, there's birthday parties, and there's all these other things that eat into that time. And I look at that, and I was shocked when I actually put that down on paper and looked at that about how little time you spend with your children. And I love my kids most of the time, like everyone else out there. And I actually thought about what is it that has made these last few weeks so special. And for me, I've been amazed about how much quality time is a big difference than just being there, because you might have just got home from work and you might be all razzled about what's happened during the day. You might not be switched on, in the morning. You might be worrying about what you've got to do for the day. And one of the things that I do that I believe I do really well is I give my kids the full attention when I'm there. And by doing that, and they can speak for that themselves if you pulled them on camera here, I'm making sure I'm not on my phone. I'm making sure I'm not on my device while they're there. I try to make it that I'm present for whatever they are. So that contact time is a solid contact time. And being able to be with them, drop-offs and pickups, and the hustle of freaking drop-off and pickup, it's like a sport down there. And, mate, I've got a crashed LDV at the moment, so fucking look out, because I take no shit, especially if you're in a Mercedes or BMW or you're trying to get in on my spot. Not on my watch. That road is mine, and I'm owning that. So that's competitive. I like it. So it gets a bit excited. 2 different schools, got to drop the kids off. It's hectic. But in that time, you get that contact time with the kids in the car. You get to talk about what's going on, what have they got for the day, and you get lots of conversation. And that's what I really like. I see so many cars near me where the kids, they're on their phones, parents are on their phones, and I'm like, man, this is not how it should be. These devices, this one here, these are destroying people's lives. And I've been lucky enough that I have been doing parenting and also working at the same time as well. So it's been quite a lot on. It's more juggling your calendar, what I can fit in between these hours, and letting your work know, yes, I do have a boss. And I had to say, look, I've got to look after the house. Unfortunately, my wingman, which is my father-in-law, he had an operation at the same time too. Come on, Ed. And because of that, I've had to do it all, because I would normally rely on them a lot. But I've sort of wanted to do this just to be able to have that contact time with the kids, and how much more loving I feel towards those little rats, because they're so cute and cuddly all the time. But I've done that, and it's made me obviously appreciate all the things that my wife runs around and does. Made me really appreciate how busy our freaking lives are. Between, trying to do homework, which don't get me started on that. Why the hell are kids doing homework when they're at school for 8 hours a day? That's another thing. I think that's definitely another topic. But for me, it's been, I don't want to say it, it's almost been life-changing that I really appreciate this time that I've got with the girls when I'm in the car, listening to what they're talking about, listening to the things that bother them in their day, and how once upon a time I would have just brushed that off. I might not have even listened in the past, but to take it on board and to really connect, it's been fantastic. And I don't want to ask them what they think, but I'm pretty sure they've had a pretty good time as well, because it's really about having that connection, that emotional support, and making sure that you are there for them. And you don't have to look far to see the shit show that's going on this planet. And to be able to have that balance with your family where you can actually listen to them, you can actually hear what they've got to say, and actually give it your attention and give it your presence, I think is the main point there. Being present while you are listening to what they are talking about. Now, the problem with that is, unfortunately, they try to pull the wool over your eyes a little bit about how sick and tired they all are. No, I'm so sick, Dad. I've got a headache. Now, we've all seen this. The problem with this is that little person that cried woof, I don't know if you can say boy anymore, girl, or that thing, mate, they, them, whatever it is, that crying wolf is the tough part, because you don't exactly know when they're telling the truth. And that makes it a little bit difficult. But because you're a lot more connected, you can actually feel what they're going through. And sometimes, let's face it, like anyone else out there, they just feel like they might need that little bit of an extra nap. They might, school should start late because they actually can't get out of bed in the morning. I'm not saying that's the right way to do, or maybe they should just harden up. And that is one of the things that I've taken out from my time with the girls, is that it's been very connected with them. And I've always been connected in the past, so it's not like this is a new thing. But when I worked out how little hours that you have with them, and half the time, let's face it, in the morning, do your hair, brush your teeth, you're rushing around, and you've really got to take that away, and hopefully after a period of time that they do understand that getting ready is important, because if we don't walk out of that door before 8 o'clock, then the rest of the day becomes banked up. And because I've been doing this drop off and pick up as well, I mean, I drop them off at cheer, then go back to work after. But that critical time, if it's I'm putting my whole day within those, 7 or 8 hours during the day. So everything else gets moved around a little bit. And not all jobs can do that, and not all positions can do that. So I totally understand that. I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. So it does bring me on to spending time with loved ones. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm started to scroll a lot less on my phone, and because I'm in the digital realm, everyone thinks I'm 100% connected. Lucky enough, I have a team around me that helps me with this. But for me, it is about spending that time doing quality things with the people that you actually care about, because sooner or later, and I am getting older, the older you get, the less patient you get with people that are wasting your time. And I'm saying that your time is so valuable that younger you actually realize this, the better off you will be. And that doesn't mean we can exactly choose. Yeah, we can. It does mean we can choose. As a child, maybe not, but as an adult, you can choose what you do with your time. So it's crucial. And to me, it's made me really reflect on how important that time is, especially with the people that you love. So it's just having a look at some stats when choosing to do this pondering. And one of the things that staggered me was that in 1965, the average time spent with children was 52 minutes per day. And now it's 104 minutes per day. So it is an increase by quite a lot. And I thought, no way, that couldn't have happened. But of course it could have happened. It makes total sense that in this day and age, more people are working less. So that means there is more time to experience life, whether that's, traveling, spending time with your kids, or doing whatever. It totally makes sense that more time is actually spent with that. Yet we feel less connected. Now, is that because of I'd love to know how much of that time is parents not on mobile phones or children not on mobile phones. You see it all the time. You look over into a car and there's a whole family, they're all on their phone. Now, I think the connection and that time, it's hard to weigh up exactly what that time is and what that connection is like, and how valuable, enriched that connection is, and is it any different? I don't know if we can ever find out that, because I'm pretty sure in 1965 there was no mobile phones, but I think it's important to make sure that you are 110% present in those times when you're spending it with loved ones, especially your children, because I can tell you, I want to make sure that no matter what happens in my child's life, I want to make sure that I am the first person they call if something goes wrong. And I don't want to be one of those parents that they're too scared to ring their parent because they're worried about what happens. I want to make sure that I am the first point of call, because dad can always fix it. And studies have also showed that the more quality time that parents spend with their children means that they grow up with less mental health issues, less anxiety issues, better well-being, and funny enough, it even shows that they perform better academically as well. So with all that's been going on in my life, it's made me actually reflect about how important your time is on this planet, because in the scheme of things, it's such a short amount of time. And having your children, it's pretty scary when someone says you have 19 summers with your children before they might move out and whatnot. This day and age, I can't see my child ever moving out, and I don't think anyone can afford to move out. But it really does make me reflect about making sure that I'm being present and making sure that that time is quality time with my children, because there's a whole lot of flow-on effects, as we've mentioned. Not only is it important for their mental health, it's actually really important for your own, because it makes you feel that you are more connected. And that's what it's done for me. And it's really opened up my eyes to how you have to be present whenever you're around your children. And you need to make that effort. Let's face it, you have to make the effort to initiate all this, because you know what it's like. You pick up the kids from school and they're like, how's your day? Yeah, it was good. Like, you can't be direct with your questions you ask them. You got to leave them open-ended. And you know how I do it? I talk about my day. And I talk about the things that I've done in my day, the meeting I had, what I talked about in the meeting, and that gets them to ask questions, because they seem to be far more interested in my day than I am of my own day. So, it makes it better for you, everyone's mental health, and everyone's well-being. I think it's just been about more connected, and that's what life's really about, being connected. Not connected through your phone, because, yeah, you are connected, but are you? Really? I've got hundreds of thousands of fans, or do I? But that's a whole nother episode.